Welcome back. Today I'd like to cover a topic that applies to most small business owners in today's Alberta economy, and that is, how do I sustain or even grow my business in a difficult economic market? So today I'd like to present to you 4 tips that we follow and we recommend to our customers on what they can do to maintain their sales or even increase their sales in a tough market. And these tips are all relatively simple and relatively inexpensive, things that you can apply to your business today without any professional help. So the first tip I want to give you is to focus on your core business. And by core business, I mean what product or service has got you and your company to where it is today. That's what you need to focus on when things are tough. I think the mistake many of us as business owners make, and it's tempting and it's understandable, is that when our core business starts to slow down, we look at areas where we can diversify, whether that's new markets or completely new sectors or products or services that we can offer. And the problem with that first is that it takes certainly your time as an owner, it'll take some time of your people, it'll likely always take financial resources to diversify in whatever way you're thinking. And really in a down economic market, do you want to be spreading yourself too thin? And I think there's a risk to doing that. And certainly what we suggest, and I think it's a general rule to follow, is that in most cases, diversification is best left for when the economy is good or really good. When your revenues are rolling in, when cash flow is rolling in, when you can really afford to make a mistake. When times are good, you make a poor diversification decision. That happens to all of us, but you can weather that, you can bounce back because you've got your core business is rolling along. But in a down market, when your core business is struggling a bit and you apply those resources to the diversification, and if things don't turn out well, it could really put your company in a bad position. So tip number 1 is to focus on your core business, run lean, tweak your processes, and really look to improve and deliver the best value you can to your customers by providing your core product or service. The second tip that I'd like to recommend to customers of ours and to business owners in general is that they look for ways to differentiate themselves within the market. And when things get tough, when things slow down, generally all the companies tend to look the same to customers. So it becomes really important for you to differentiate yourself somehow from everyone else so that you can attract more business. And I'll just give you an example that will maybe illustrate the point a little bit better. We worked with a company that was involved in residential remodeling, renovation, and they were having a tough time with price cutting, with securing work, with the amount of people that were in that space providing similar service. So we needed to come up with a plan that would help them differentiate themselves within their existing market, still doing, utilizing their core business model, their existing employees, their existing finances, all those things, not reaching out of the box at all, but really trying to deliver a differentiator that would work within their existing business. So what we came up with was setting a differentiator in the marketplace that they were the company that would complete the project in 10 days or less. So the type of remodeling that they were doing, it was attainable, and we put a couple conditions in that where permits had to be in place and demo had to be completed. So basically, it was a blank canvas ready for the crews to come in and bang out the work. And once that clock started ticking on day 1, the commitment was that they'd have things completed in 10 days. And we found with that example that company began to see improvements within the first 30 days of launching that guarantee and that campaign on social media, on their website, on all their marketing material, and they saw results fairly quickly without a lot of added expense or effort. And it certainly helped the company streamline their operations because they had to. They couldn't afford to waste any time. So they kind of won on both ends, where they were getting business in and they were also making more money on that business because they were working very efficiently, following a tight schedule, turning work over. So it was just a great example of how a differentiator not only gets you more work, but can help you make more money on the work you do bring in. So I think that's a great tip for you, and that is to differentiate your company, your product, your service somehow. And then another tip I'd like to bring is to really use relationships and networking. So if you haven't done any networking prior to the slowdown, certainly now is a great time to start. Try and get out to business owners, business groups that can be potential customers, and really start to build a bit of a network so you've got more people to call to solicit work from. And certainly what I did when I had my industrial service company, when things were starting to slow down at certain cycles of the year, I would go around and speak to some of our good clients or clients that we had, helped get out of a bind or meet a tight deadline, and say, do you remember the time we did this for you? We're a little bit slow right now. We'd really appreciate some work coming our way, trying to get that reciprocity back from the customer that you helped out last month or last year. And I think that's just a great way to, take advantage of the investment you've made into their business and into their lives, is remind them of it, just ask for a small favor back, to throw something your way, see what happens. So tip 3 is to really lean on your networking and on your relationships, and see where that takes. I think, again, in my example, in my experience, and I've seen other owners do it, it generally will stir up some work. So try that, and in conjunction with other things you're doing, it's going to help. And then the 4th thing that we recommend, and it kind of ties into all of these things we just mentioned, and that is to really focus on customer service. Again, the temptation when things get tight and maybe you have to really tighten up your quotes and your estimates is, as an owner, you're looking for ways to cut corners to try and make money. So you're putting pressure on your people to, run extra lean or cut some corners on the job site or wherever you are. And this certainly creates a bit of a negative snowball effect, where by doing that, generally that's when more mistakes happen. Then you're going back and you're fixing deficiencies or fixing things that should never have been left wrongly done in the first place, if the employees, weren't trying to save some money or some time because you were putting pressure on them to get things done. So we kind of suggest the opposite. This is when you try and spend a little more time on the projects, a little more time with your customers. Certainly if you're the business owner, you want to spend a lot more time with your core group of customers, making sure they're happy with the work that's being done, really getting the lines of communication open, and really reinforcing to your employees how important these customers are right now in this economy. So you really need to treat them good, do a good job, meet schedules, meet deadlines, meet specifications, all those things that help elevate your customer service. So when you're providing great customer service, people are talking about you in your community. And that's, again, just going to, when someone's deciding between company A, you, and company B, and they've been hearing great things about your customer service and about the product or service you're providing, it's really going to give you a leg up to get that contract over other companies that maybe aren't spending any time on customer service. That's purely price driven. And I think anytime we can avoid solely running our business based on price, the better profit we'll get from the work we do. So those are 4 recommendations I would give to you as a business owner. You can start those today by yourself. You don't need any professional business coaching to make those things happen, or certainly to get those wheels in motion on those 4 things. So give that a try. I know it will help you in this economy, and best of luck with your business.